your guide or whatever notes which I took from your class
Okay.
as like a torchlight.
Okay.
I took that as a light to guide me through the wilderness.
I wanted to make a start, but they are afraid. Okay, will I be able to get data science? It is so big, artificial intelligence. These terminologies are like very big thing. So
Yes.
that's what it is. It is making them to afraid. So that's why I just asked.
Say India and New Zealand. From what I observed in India, so the main emphasis is on code. That for some questions, if you are not able to answer them, it's okay with them. You won't get rejected for that.
Okay.
So that's the thing in New Zealand. And they do understand that it's one of the topmost telecom players in New Zealand, and they have the major market share there in telecom. Learning coding at the age of 33,
Okay.
with around 9+ years of experience in sales and marketing. Yeah, my first advice there is start today, right now.
Hello everyone, this is John, Data Science Career Transition Expert. Welcome you all to this conversation series with Pro-IT Bridge alumni. Today we are having Bewin, who underwent proper data science training, who moved to New Zealand from India, and he studied in one university, and now he's working as a product owner. He started his career from non-IT background, and when he moved to New Zealand, he started his career as a data scientist, and within a couple of years, he reached to the leadership level, that is product owner. So here we are having Bewin. So first, let's welcome. Thanks, Bewin, for joining me in this.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
All right. So Bewin, I just talked about you. I just briefly summarized what exactly you have done in your career, but it would be more helpful if you could just explain from what is the starting point of your career, and after that, what are the struggles that you faced, and what is something that motivated you to get into this data science field, and what you're doing right now. So can you please explain to the people?
All right. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Bewinson. I'm from New Zealand, and I'm working in Spark New Zealand as a product owner. So I started my career after completing my MBA in St. Joseph's College, Trichy, as a sales trainee in Vodafone.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I moved to Ramco Siemens, again as a sales officer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ventured into banking. So I wrote the IBPS examination, and I got posting as an assistant manager there.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I moved up the career ladder as a manager, branch manager.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the year 2020, I decided that I had to get out of this routine thing or my comfort zone, which I had already. So I chose data science as an option.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that as a bridge between the non-IT background and the IT field.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I chose data science career to transition to IT field.
Mm-hmm.
And from my young days, early days, I was good at mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of taking a straight computer science course, I thought I would do this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I went with this career.
Got it.
Yeah. From there, I completed my master's in data science in the University of Canterbury, and of course, John Gabriel was my mentor in data science. So I was stuck in India for around 1.5 years due to this COVID lockdown and all this stuff. So you guided me through all those different technical stuff in data science and all the machine learning algorithms, linear regression, classification, recommendation models, all those stuff. And by God's grace, finally I got placed as a data intelligence analyst first.
Okay.
And I entered Spark New Zealand as an intern.
Okay.
And in 1 year time, I got promoted as a product owner of the same team that I joined as an intern. So that's my career path. The main reason why I chose a tech career, especially data science, was I did a lot of research on my own, and I found that AI is the future. The next thing is data science was described as one of the most, not data science, data scientist was described as the sexiest job of 21st century by Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started looking and reading more and more about it, and then I found that okay, this course or this curriculum will be a bridge for me to jump into the IT field. So that's the reason why I ventured into it.
All right, so it was so wonderful. I think everything was crystal clear in your explanation. The next follow-up question, you were in this 2020, I think so, right? So you were in India. So at the pandemic time, you couldn't move over there, but you took up the course in New Zealand.
Yes.
So maybe you might have some lot of peer pressure and your family pressure. So how did you handle those kind of pressures when you were learning? So what is that hope you had to move to New Zealand to get placed as a data scientist? It would be very challenging, challenging to digest that feeling, right? When you're in India, but when you already paid your money to New Zealand to go and learn there. So how did you manage to overcome that?
Yeah, that's a nice question. The first thing which I had was faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kept me moving towards my goal. So that's the first thing, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing, I had an attitude of never give up.
Mm-hmm.
I never gave up anything, starting from my ambition to do anything. I was consistent in doing what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So in spite of all the peer pressure and all other negative comments from the relatives and all other friends, not friends, most of the friends encourage, but some of the people who come in the disguise of friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Some question the capability. They're asking me the question that you are from a banking background. How will you learn coding? And even if you learn that you are new to this field, how will you find a job there? Do you know the job market there? And during COVID, there were a lot of job cuts, right? And all these questions came up. But one thing which I had was, as I told, the faith in God. And the next thing is that I will see the sunrise soon. That's my belief, which I had in my heart. That's what kept me motivating. And I saw the light at the end of the tunnel at last.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So, good. The next question I had. So, you got to see this kind of codings, right? So, that online experience when you were here, when you're learning those technical stuffs from New Zealand, from that thing, it is the top college, right? One of the top colleges. So, university, sorry. Yeah. So, how did you feel those kind of teachings when you were in online and completely from non-IT background? So, what is the struggle that you faced?
Yeah, the first thing was I wasn't able to attend the classes properly in online because of the time difference between New Zealand and India. That's where Pro-IT Bridge, you helped me with the coding and all the hard stuff. So you took me through the different algorithms and the statistics behind that. The formulas and how we derive all those stuff. And not just that, but also through the coding stuff. Yeah, that cleared a lot of things to me. Okay. So whatever I studied in the universities, I studied with your guide or whatever notes which I took from your class as like a torchlight.
Okay.
I took that as a light to guide me through the wilderness. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. So here the point is he was stuck in. Why I'm just repeatedly asking about the struggle here, because most people do not jump into the struggle zone, right? Yeah. So they will be staying in the comfort zone, and it is easy for someone to think, okay, if I get a job there, it will be something good, right? It's easy for somebody to think, yes. But it is hard for somebody to jump like you, how you did. So there is always a pain story behind all success stories. So that's why I just wanted you to talk about all the struggles what you face, because there are a lot of learners who wanted to make a start, but they are afraid. Okay, will I be able to get data science? It is so big, artificial intelligence. These terminologies are like a very big thing. So yes. That's what it is. It is making them to afraid. So that's why I just asked all about your mindset when you were learning. So one thing is, I think Bewin already shared, he focused on upskilling himself. Yes, he was with me for a certain time, like 6 months. But after that, once he moved to New Zealand, all the projects and all the things he himself did it. Few things, yes, I was assisting him, but it was small part of it. But rest all things, he did it. And the next question to you, Bewin. So when you were attending interviews there, right? So what sorts of questions you were getting? Because India to New Zealand and completely non-IT background.
Right.
So how was your interview experience there? Can you please share?
Yeah, so there are a lot of differences between different job markets. Say India and New Zealand. From what I observed in India, so the main emphasis is on coding and technical stuff. So they put the technical screening first, and then they go to the behavioral stuff in India.
Okay.
I mean psychological stuff, but it's upside down in New Zealand.
Okay.
So they put the psychological assessment and behavioral stuff first, and then they proceed to the technical route. And I think that's the right approach. So in the first level, they will screen the candidate, whether they will find out whether he will suit our organization or not. So that's one thing, especially if he's a team player or not. Will he adapt to the environment of the company there? So that's the first thing which they will find there. Next thing is coding. Coding is slightly different, the coding challenge there. Usually what they do there is ask you to share the screen. So if you're a full stack developer, they will ask you some questions like to write a loop or some other basic questions. And you might have to do the coding in front of them by sharing the screen.
Okay.
So they usually don't prefer a website or any other platform of coding. I mean, a preset test questions. They don't do that. They fire the questions online. So that's quite challenging, but that's good, right? And if you are truthful and if you are frank to tell them that for some questions, if you are not able to answer them, it's okay with them. You won't get rejected for that.
Okay.
So that's the thing in New Zealand. And they do understand that everyone is not 100% genius or something. So that's one thing. But I put some more emphasis and struggle in the coding part through which I came through. So in my college, I'm in the university days, I put some extra time in learning R programming and Python.
Okay.
For example, if I used a library, I did some more extra research and found who was the creator of that library.
Okay.
So there's a time series library called XTS in R. So I found that I used that library in Arima, time series modeling. And I took the coding part for myself. So it's a group project work in the university. So what I did was I voluntarily put up my hand in spite of the fact that I didn't know coding properly. But I voluntarily put up my hand in. And I coded line by line everything after watching a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials. So I used this library, XTS. As I said, I did the extra research and I found out who was the creator of that library. I also found that he had some other data science website. So I had this facts ready. So when I appeared for interview, not for Spark, but for another bank called Westpac Bank, I appeared for the interview for a data engineer post. So they asked me to share my screen live and explain my project. So I explained them line by line, and when I told that this particular library, XTS, was created by or founded by this person, and I also gave some background on that person, they were really impressed about my knowledge, and they were like, wow, this guy not just knows the coding, he also knows the creator of those libraries. So that extra step, and they were really satisfied at the end of the interview. So that's how I cracked the interviews there.
Got it. So how do you stand out? So that's what matters. So when we are studying in universities abroad, so that's how we differentiate compared to all other learners, right? So everybody are learning the same program, and everybody would be pushed into the same interview heartbeat, right? So when attending the interview, how do you stand out? That is something because jobs are something which we need to take care of, right? So we need to grab for ourselves. So it will be there, but like 100 people, they will be applying for that. How we outstand ourselves and how we grab it, it's completely falls on one individual's capacity. So that's what Bewin has done, and it's good that you got into this spark. So can you talk about your company a bit? So what is the total operations that they're doing, and what is your roles and responsibilities there?
Right. So right now I'm working for Spark New Zealand. Spark New Zealand is one of the topmost telecom players in New Zealand, and they have the major market share there in telecom. And recently they have ventured into IoT and all of this stuff. And Spark New Zealand is a pioneer in AI and technology implementation and digital transformation in New Zealand. So they not just implement AI and technology within the organization, they try to use this latest tech stack and use that for the upliftment of New Zealanders' life,
Okay.
New Zealand citizens' life. So that's the best part which I see. So the role which I'm working as a product owner there now. So I had a team of around 6 to 7 people. So there are 3 data engineers now, 2 other data intelligence analysts, and myself is there, and 1 more building DevOps engineer is there. Okay, and 1 Power BI specialist is there. Right, so around 7 people are there. So we are part of the AI and engineering tribe. So it's not like a traditional department as you see in the waterfall kind of approach organizations. It's an agile setup. So we belong to the AI and engineering tribe, and we are one of the squads in the AI and engineering tribe. So my main focus is on revenue assurance. What you sign in the contract is what you should bill the customer. So the contract data is sitting as a PDF, scanned PDF. So we use the OCR to extract data from the contracts. We compare that with the billing data, and we highlight the discrepancies to the organization. So we build all of the tools based on it. This is a basic approach. So we also look into other different parts of the business also. Yeah. So we'll be using fuzzy matching logics to compare different client names, site names, and the bill rates, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so it was too detailed what you spoke maybe. So I think till now we spoke about your career transition and what you're doing over there and your struggle.
Yeah.
So now let's say for someone who wanted to get into the world of data science, all right. So let's say somebody completed engine B, all right, and or any non-IT background or IT background. Is it something possible for them to get into this data science field? And mostly people are afraid of getting into this data science field as first job.
Right.
So first job getting into data science is something which is becoming very challenging. That's what everybody are afraid.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that, and what is your advice for that?
Yeah. So on that one, whether it might be data science or any other job, your first job is always going to be challenging.
Right.
Anyway, you are going to be a fresher. So think it that way. Imagine the day when you got the first job, which you are right now doing, right? And imagine your struggle there. It's going to be the same. It doesn't make a difference, right? So you got a first job already. You're in a job now. That means you can make it here also. So it's all about the mindset first. So there's a saying in English which does that. If you think you can, yes, you are right. You can. And if you think you can't, yes, you're right.
Okay.
You can't. So it's your mindset there. So when I talk about myself, I started learning coding at the age of 33.
Okay.
With around 9+ years experience in sales and marketing, banking, which is a totally different domain, finance and sales and marketing, right? And most of the guys who complain that they're too old to learn coding are around some 26 or 27.
Okay.
With some 4 or 5 years experience in a non-IT background. So if you know how tough the job as a branch manager in a government bank in India especially. So if a branch manager from a government bank can learn coding at the age of 33, why can't you do that? And I have seen people in my company, Spark New Zealand, who have shifted career paths from billing specialists.
Okay.
Billing specialists, network engineers,
okay,
who totally deal with hardware and stuff, IC circuits, switching their career into coding, right? And if I see the average age of those guys, it will be 40 years.
Oh.
And if they can do that, why can't you do that? So it's all based on your mindset. You have to break that and come out.
Right.
And I got rejected in 15 to 20 companies first when I applied for the job. And the last company which I got was Spark, which is where I am right now. So definitely you will make it big one day. But all these failures, they'll make you strong in your life. And you have to cope up with that. So you have to get prepared in your mind that even if I get 100 rejections, I'll apply for the 101 company, 101st company, and I will get the job there. That's how it is.
So that is very true, and because even Bewin, he made a career transition from completely non-IT, 9 years, and then to IT. So which opens up the discussion to the next question, or you already answered that. There is still companies are ready to hire if you're from non-IT background, right?
Yes.
There are a lot of opportunities. It's just that you need to prove that you are skilled enough to work on their projects, right? And also with respect to your behavior, right? So how loyalty you are to the company. So that's also, it's your responsibility to prove it. With respect to your coding skills or your past experience, you need to prove that. So the opportunities are open not only in abroad countries, here also in India. There are a lot of people who are already making career transition too. It's just that, as you rightly mentioned, the mindset, right? So everybody need to break that and put in a lot of hard efforts. It's not something easy. First interview, second interview, they will decide to, right? So that's what mostly people are doing. Okay, and these guys are expecting 5 years experience plus. I'm not fit for that. So when they're seeing like 4 to 5 requirements, like they are quitting.
Oh.
So that is something happening mostly, right? And until and unless the doors will be open, but they are not ready to wait until that time. And during that time, they are just getting distracted.
Yeah.
So staying in the path is something very challenging, and it's good that you did it, and you are here, and you being an example. I think everybody are seeing you, really appreciations.
Yeah.
And last question, last but not the least. So, were you satisfied with your pay, what you're getting there from New Zealand?
Yeah, I'm really satisfied with what I'm getting there, and it's one of the highest pay in that country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So companies are ready to pay you more. You will be satisfied too, not only in New Zealand, again in India too. But again, the right skills, you need to prove that. The ball is on your court, you need to prove that. All right. Last question to you. If somebody wants to make a career start in data science, what would be your advice? Maybe with respect to Proactive Bridge, or if they wanted to join us, or anywhere. So if somebody wants to get started with data science, what would be your advice?
Yeah, my first advice there is start today, right now. Right now, when you see this video, start doing that. Otherwise, you'll get distracted. By the end of the day, someone is going to pump some negative thoughts in your mind, and you're going to get distracted again. So the first thing, if you decide, jump into the pool. And the next thing is, for most of the guys who want to make the transition from there, anywhere you are right now, leave out of your comfort zone. So you might be sitting in a comfort zone, getting some 30K or 40K rupees per month, telling that I'm really satisfied in this company. Get out of that comfort zone first. That's so start it right now. Get out of your comfort zone. So once you're out of your comfort zone, you will feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Definitely. And that restlessness, that's what will drive you towards your new job. That's what drove me to the new job also.
It's talking from the experience, you felt that pain. Right?
Yeah. For me, I had my wife and my daughter. She was around 3 years old at that time in 2020. So I had a family to support. I can't sleep peacefully without a job, and I had a big education loan to close.
Okay.
Right? So I had to pay the interest, at least some part of interest. So it was around 25 lakhs plus the loan amount. So I came out of my comfort zone, and I feel uncomfortable, and I feel restless. So I couldn't sleep well until I got my first job. So I worked hard and hard. I hardly slept 3 or 4 hours a day at that time. So the rest of the time I was putting effort in studying.
Alright, so that is a good point.
Yeah.
So start now and come out of your comfort zone, and you will be restless, but that is something which will help you to land up in your dream job.
Yes.
So that's the final take throughout this discussion. So I think you all got to understand Bewin's life career transition journey into the field of data science and artificial intelligence, where he did his MBA and come to 9 years irrelevant IT background, and then he moved to New Zealand. Now he's good, settled with family, everything. So now the next steps, he's again working hard. There are a lot of challenges even in his company, but he's just embracing all these new challenges, and he's just growing. So that's what it is. One point which I would like to add and end this conversation: challenge is something which never changes. And a person who embraces new challenges in their life you will see yourself growing. All right. So let's say learning data science, it's a new challenge. Let's take it. We do not know completely from non-IT. Coding, new challenge. But when you embrace it, you will see yourself growing. So we both are the living testimony here that we are talking in front of you. All right. So thank you, Bewin, for joining me in this conversation.
Yeah, my pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your life.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope this entire conversation was helpful to you. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, bye.